Okay, folks, good morning and welcome to Swing Trading Today. This is Bob Desmond, and it is April the 21st. Let's begin with a rundown of what we're going to talk about this morning. We'll talk about Netflix. They reported earnings after hours. The shares got hammered on forward-looking guidance that was not wonderful. They beat on EPS, but their subscriber growth, they pulled it forward. I mean, I don't know how it's a shock, but apparently it was a shock. We did open up a Strangle. We sold a Strangle, 600 call side, 500 put side. We'll be looking to book that out this morning for a profit, ideally, assuming that we close or trade above the 500 mark. Our basis cost, including the premium paid, is $494.15, $494.15. So even with, because we played it safe, we stayed small. Even with the gap down, we're still probably going to pull a profit out of this, especially on the call side. So we're going to talk about where I believe we're going to hit support today using TrendSpider. We're going to talk about the pre-market activity of Netflix and the averages, and then I'll move on over to chart requests. So let's get to first our sponsor being TrendSpider. Folks, automate your grunt work and speed up your analysis while at the same time improving your accuracy. Reduce costly analytical mistakes and find winning chart setups with their scanners and time your trades with precision. If you're wondering what support levels I'm looking at today, it's not going to be on any other platform except for TrendSpider, because their automated trend lines allow me to be mechanical in my trading. So take advantage of the 35% discount code below using the link. They have a tutorial, or a demo, I should say, 7-day free trial offer, and new members to the Contrarian Trader get a 14-day free trial offer, and TrendSpider is included free with their silver and gold level memberships. The version of TrendSpider that I use is the same version that you get as a member to the Contrarian Trader. I use what I share with my members. So again, take advantage, 35% discount code below. Let's get to it. All right, so as previously mentioned, Netflix was hammered overnight. At last look, let's go to it. At last look, we were trading at around 505. We were as low as 480 per share. So where do we find support here? Let's head on over to TrendSpider. Okay, so this chart is not reflective of the price action this morning, but to identify where we have support levels below, we're going to hit the automated trend lines. And the first support level that we're looking at here is at around, let's call it 510, 511. I doubt we're going to open above that mark. Maybe we will. But this mark here is probably going to act, if we gap down below it, is probably going to act as resistance on any rally up higher. Now, if we manage to close above this mark, which is entirely possible, you never know, well, then perhaps we've seen the lows, but I tend to doubt it. What I like a bit more are these two support levels down here at around $500 per share. That's my strike on the put side of my Strangle. For those not familiar with a Strangle, it's an option strategy. And we also have support, which I manually drew. Let's add that right here. And it kind of validates, I took this from a different perspective, it validates where I believe ultimately we are going to close the day. But if we fail to, obviously there are no guarantees. If we fail to, this is a significant breakdown on Netflix. And we should expect that these current expected support levels will then become resistance. So I went over last night some strategies about how we plan on managing our options trade. I currently have an order in at roughly 50% of the premium paid, where we could still bring home a profit on any bounce off of these support levels, despite the fact that the shares were hammered overnight because we did not get greedy. I used a expected 2 standard deviation move on the shares, and that's exactly what we got. I could have collected more premium by going closer to the money, and I would be licking my wounds right now. So there are a couple of rules to options trading. 1, don't get greedy. 2, stay small. Let's go to the pre-market activity. Members, more to come on this. All right, back to Netflix. We're trading back above 505. And again, our advanced order has already been placed for roughly half of the premium paid to us. And that would generate us a 50% profit on the trade. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar. The dollar is rallying, and I kind of expected this. And frankly, because I've covered calls on some gold mining stocks that expire, not this week, but next, I was hoping for a pullback on gold, or at least a pause to allow some time decay. So let's take a look at what gold is doing. Gold is up moderately, and it's off the highs of the session. So it looks like what we're going to do here, absent a major move up higher on the U.S. dollar, is that we'll probably trade sideways for a day or two. I have a couple of members who have options expiring. The covered calls at the 47 strike on GDXJ expiring on Friday. Mine expire on the 30th. Let's take a look at a 4-hour chart. Now, we're looking good here. I think we may pop up higher. All right. Members, more to come on our management of that trade. Covered call trade. 2 equities, NASDAQ 100. Off the lows of the session, but still down spot 20%. The Russell 2000 up nearly 0.5%. Dead cat bounce. We're going to have resistance at the 2201 mark on the Russell 2000 index futures. So not much upside potential here before we see some selling. We do have a short position on the Russell, so frankly, I am hoping for a rollover here. The S&P 500 down. It's basically flat. A bit of a dead cat bounce. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here, folks, is a dead cat bounce on the S&P 500. Here is your bull flag, or bear flag setup, I should say, off of your Bollingers, third standard deviation Bollingers. And these can get resolved to the upside. But when you get a breakdown like we've been seeing of late, many times the path of least resistance is down. But we'll keep an open mind. Taking a look at bonds this morning, it looks as though we are retesting yet again the lower band of support on the 10-year yield. If we break the support level, that means yields are heading up higher. I'm not making any call yet, but if this breaks, if we break down below the lows of the 20th, look out below, because that means yields have put in a higher low, and then we'll probably see a higher high on yields, the inverse of what we're seeing right now on the 10-year note. Oil has been very weak these past few days, and it appears as though we're heading down lower. But I believe that if yields begin to press up higher, you're going to see energy stocks, which have been hurt of late, catch a bid. So keep an eye on oil. Very important, because the powers that be want to keep oil up, and they'll create a war to do it. I think we've all seen that by now. And that is pretty much it for this morning, folks. Remember, we have a lot of earnings coming out. Don't take too much risk. And don't forget, take advantage of our 35% discount code to TrendSpider and sign up for our 14-day free trial offer at the Contrarian Trader. Links to both are below. Have a profitable trading day. Be well.